Hey, what's up, everybody? This is DJ Thielen, CEO of Fortune Foreclosures, founder of Flipping on Demand, and your host of DJ Thielen Live. And today on the show, it's success strategies for living your best life. Obviously, today on the show, I have a good friend of mine all the way from the UK, Mr. Ricky O'Donnell. What's up, baby?
Yo, buddy, really well, mate. How's it across the pond?
It's great, man. It's great. It's awesome, man. We've had a little bit of funky weather,
Right?
like out here in LA, but it's good. Hey, am I getting an echo or feedback or anything?
No, you're totally good, dude. Totally perfect for me.
Okay.
Yeah, totally awesome. I have to apologize as well because I'm actually in my man cave. We're not in the studio, but we'll be in the studio next week when we do.
Oh, hey, and dude, I've seen your studio. It's like the UK Grant Cardone studio, man.
Well, that's it. See, I just come back from a parents' evening, so I was like, right, I'm going to go to the studio. Got to get there. Traffic was mad. I was like, no, let's do it in the man cave. But hey, loads of memories are made here, so it's really good.
I love it, man. I love it. So hey, man, you and I met, Ricky, like what, a couple months ago or whatever.
Yeah.
At the 10X growth conference in Miami, Grant Cardone's conference, and obviously, I don't know, we were like back getting some coffee or snacks or something, and we started chatting, and and so obviously, became friends and buddies. So you have a pretty like amazing, to put it mildly, story. And today we're going to share with people, we're going to talk about dreams, but even more than dreams, so many people these days. Well, actually, before we get into it, why don't you just share, who you are and kind of where the cloth that you're cut from. And then we can talk about, obviously we can lead into what you do now and that kind of thing.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, cool. So obviously, like I said, my name's Ricky O'Donnell. I'm the CEO of a media production technology business in the UK. So that's rjdm.com. I also founded Success Leaves Clues, where I interview millionaires and billionaires all over the world, sharing their story of success. And like I say, we met in Miami, but I started off when I was 10. I wanted to be an animator. So at 10 years old, that's all I wanted to be. And I was very lucky because I've now animated and directed projects for Disney. We've done Tom Jones Give a Little Love. We've done Top Gear. We've done all sorts of things. And in fact, we've probably done so many different projects over time, you probably would have seen something that we've done. And then I've been a retained firefighter. I've had my business now 18 years, which has been amazing. And we work with loads of really cool global brands. But in December 2017, I got cancer. And because I worked on my business, not in my business, it enabled me to think the only regret I would have more holidays with the family. So kicked cancer last year. That was amazing. And after that, everything else goes into significance. So traveled, had lots of different mentors, lots of different coaches. Like I say, worked at every sort of level in animation, done workshops all over the world, Dubai, places like that, and just lived life and loved life, really. And now, obviously, set up Success Leaves Clues, met yourself, met some really cool, like-minded people in Miami at GC's event. Saw Grant Cardone probably 9 months ago, had an audience about 8 or so times with him.
Got some free input live from the stage from Ty Lopez.
Yeah, Ty Lopez had our website. He started to try and tear it apart, and we sort of changed that straight away. It's like, dude, you're doing the same thing for everyone,
Yeah.
So yeah, it was funny because like he didn't really go deep into the site, He was just sort of going through some bits because I wanted him to say about Coca-Cola or some of the brands because like, yeah, same people who wrote that copy did that, so it's all cool.
Hey, free advertising, baby, right there.
Hey, dude, totally. You know what? I mean, in the journey of last year, I've got so many friends across the pond now. Like we're doing the same thing over in the UK, and got so many friends over in the US now from that. And the interesting thing with that conference was by being on that stage and having the site there, everybody came up and recognized the Success Leaves Clues lion. So yeah. They're like, wow, Yeah, they're like, well, dude, you were at the front. Tyler, I loved your site. Oh, Ty Lopez said this. Ty Lopez said that. I was like, yeah, it's cool. It's cool. He's a clever guy. He's a really clever guy. He's got some great stuff. But it was good. It got attention, right? And that's sort of the shows, the people we interview, the talking we've done. I mean, we was in a mastermind in the UK with Grant Cardone and various other people, and I was like, you've all seen something my company's worked on, but you don't know me. And ever since we've done Success Leaves Clues, ever since we've done the live shows, the interviews, people have started to know. And we've got our big event that we're doing. And, and like I say, when we went over at Diamond, meeting yourself and some really, really cool people, didn't we?
Oh man. Yeah. And it's so, we'll get into the dream section here because you are, and a lot of people, you touched on it, but you kind of skimmed it. I mean, dude, you have a massively successful company that you built. You do a ton of work for Disney, multiple clients that people hear of. Like you said, people that are watching this or listening to the podcast have probably more than likely either seen something that your company has worked on or whatever. And your office is sick, man. We were walking around the other day. Obviously, I've seen it a couple of times. And I mean, your screen is like, like I don't even know how big it is. It's I don't even know. 80 feet.
I know it makes me look small, and I'm like 6'4" and 20 stone. So yeah, it makes me look tiny.
You honestly, man, you probably have the coolest office that I've seen. I mean, you have all the action figures.
Deadpool, Spider-Man,
yeah, real life.
R2-D2, C-3PO, yeah, full life-size models, Slimer, BB-8, just loads of film characters all over. In fact, in the man cave, I've actually got Batman and some of the characters in here, So yeah, it's a very cool place. I mean, I didn't want to grow up. That's why I set up an animation studio. You see, that's that's why I did.
So let's talk about that, right? Because that's what we want to share with people today on the show. Obviously, outside of just ideas and concepts that can help them live a better life. So when you grew up, you had a dream. You actually achieved that dream. Share with the people on here, when you were young, what was your dream specifically? And what was the path that you took to be able to get there and achieve it?
Yeah, so I think my dream at 10 years old, I wanted to be an animator. So I made 2 films at that age. I went to college. I annoyed animation studios in the UK. I annoyed them. I emailed them, I phoned them, I wrote letters to them. I was a pain in the ass to a lot of companies just to find out, how do I become an animator? What do I need to do? Who do I need to speak to? And I was really lucky to go to Bournemouth, which is in the UK, that's the National Centre for Computer Animation. So I've got friends all over the world who are doing some amazing things with super cool films. And that's what I wanted to be. So I actually set up the company in 2001. And that was when 3D animation and everything was completely brand new. And the thing with doing that was that everyone wanted a piece of me at the time. So as an animator, as an artist, I didn't know business. So I've animated at every level. I've directed at pretty much every level. And I didn't really understand what true business was. So 10, 12 years ago, had various business coaches, various mentors, and just scaled the business. So we were having fun, right? Traveling the world, doing workshops with kids. And it's interesting when you do these speaking circuits and you talk on stage or you interview loads of people, that everybody tries to think and get back to their creative juices as a child. And I said to you the other day, I mean, you saw the exercise, right? We've got to share the exercise with all your audience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So this is the best exercise you can ever do, and you got to do it with me because you know it now. Best exercise you can ever do in your life. This. And why is that the best exercise? You know that, my friend. You know what that is?
Because I'm alive.
Because you're alive. You're not in a coffin. Totally. Yeah. And I think the thing is, like, animation is an amazing area of business to go into, and you stay young. Now, we have a technology business. We do lots of cool things. But I said to you the other day, and you've got to answer this in the same way, how do you think a spoon would feel?
It doesn't have feelings. It's a piece of metal.
Yeah. What else? It's a piece of metal. Doesn't have feelings.
Yeah.
And that's because you've learned that as an adult. You've learned that it's cold. You've learned that it doesn't have feelings. If you ask a youngster how a spoon feels, they go, it feels sad. Well, why does it feel sad? Because it was the last spoon to be chosen from the drawer. And the imagination is amazing. And I think entrepreneurs and business, everyone, they think too small. This is everything that we've learned in all spaces. If you asked a 4-year-old what they wanted to do or what they wanted to achieve, or your 10-year-old self, what do you want to be? Where are you going to be? They think massive, and then they achieve it. Then what? Then you think bigger and you think bigger, and people don't take the lid off what they believe possible. I mean, you yourself, when you were 10, you wanted to be a baseball player.
Yeah, you know that. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. And that's like the power of dreams, right?
Yeah.
And do your audience know your story?
Yeah, they know I played. Most of them, know I played some pro ball. Actually, I keep it. It's funny. I gotta frame it, but I keep it right here, just as a reminder that. And it's so crazy when we were talking about dreaming and like how to dream again, because you're so right, man. It's like, and you have some good insight on that. I'll let you share why. So you wanted to be an animator. You wanted to be this at 10 years old. You got to become that. What was, why do you work, you speak a lot, you have your Success Leaves Clue show, which I'm going to be on next week, which I'm excited about. But what is it that you see, Ricky, from all the people, like, let's give them some nuggets today that can really help them. What do you see with people that you would say are the number one and two kind of punches that get people that allow people to just stop dreaming like we did when we were kids?
Well, I think you make your dreams a reality. I think what happens is people stop dreaming, or they don't believe things possible. They say in their mind, can't. I can't do this. I can't do that. Can't stands for constant and never-ending tantrum. It's how can I? How can I do these things? People are people, right? If you ask awkward questions, if you really want something enough, go out and do it. Who's there to suppress a dream? You wouldn't tell a 4-year-old they're never going to become an astronaut, because those who still believe in being astronauts become astronauts. It's only when you stop dreaming do you actually stop realizing what you want to do. We've done workshops all over the world, and an animation media technology is a multi-billion pound business and industry. But I've had people come up to me in workshops going, my kid wants to be an animator, or my kid wants to be a programmer. It's not really, they want to do games. That's not a real job. Really? It's a multi-billion pound industry. If you don't mind me asking, what do you do for a living? And they might go, well, maybe they stack shelves. Maybe they do. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with what anyone's doing. But all of these industries are exploding. Content is king, being everywhere. The kids consume content on YouTube, Netflix, absolutely everywhere. They're from all directions. They don't just watch TV. So when someone says to me, an animator isn't a real job, I was like, well, yeah, it is. Because you become an animator, you become a supervisor, you set your own business up, you start directing, then you start making money. You may win, lose money, spend money, whatever, but you're living the life of, like, if I came up to you and went, whoa, DJ, how you doing, dude? What? You'd go, whoa, you're like crazy, man. But if a character does that, that's like larger than life. It is so cool. It's allowed. Mm-hmm. And I think people just forget to have fun. And kids have fun in abundance. And I think that, like, for me, no one put on their tombstone, I wish I worked an extra hour. There's loads of people smashing it every day, working hard, trying to get a work-life balance. The scales tilt different times. Sometimes you got to work really hard, but it's important to actually have those life memory hooks with your kids. If you're lucky enough to have kids or nieces or anything like that, their imagination is so pure, so innocent. I just think people stop dreaming.
Yeah.
Because they believe it's not real. It's like when, and this was something that I was quite interested in when saw Grant a few months ago, and obviously seen him several times since, and various other speakers. Everyone who's achieved anything hasn't stopped dreaming. They've just achieved it, and they've dreamt more, and then they've dreamt more. And it's like Elon Musk is a great example. Like he's I mean, I love Tesla. I'm really lucky. I have a Tesla Model X. P100D. It's the best car. It's one of the fastest cars on the road. Absolutely amazing. But every child or every next generation knows his name. Now, he's a CEO of an automotive company. He runs SpaceX. He does all these things, but they all know his name. Why? Because he's inspiring generations, and he's dreaming massive. And people are going, yeah, you're not going to take down this. You're not going to do. He's done it. And this is it. Everybody is just, if he suddenly went, well, you know what, I'm not going to go to Mars. If he truly believed that, he wouldn't be going, but he's doing it, and this is the same. Like when you look at children, you look at kids, you look at ideas, people just learn to not believe anymore. Like if you was to say hate, all of the hate, things like that, we bleed the same. We all have the same skeletal structure, but race, color, all of these things are learnt.
Yeah.
And
True.
And all of it is learned. And as dreamers ourselves, our inner child, all of these things, we're all in a neutral position. You can be whatever you want to be, right? And you keep on going. There's a saying, what wins, the river or the rock? The rock always wins. It's the persistence. We have a lot of people and a lot of young artists try and come into the studio to work on our animation projects, but we all have gatekeepers, and they might phone 5 or so times before I even know they've done it once. Like if you want something, you just got to go out and keep going for it. I want that phone call. I will bring biscuits. I'll bring biscuits to come and talk to you. I'll make your coffee. Tell me your story.
I'll buy all the muffins.
Yeah, I'll bring the muffins. Come in. And, yeah.
Remember that like the story with Itzler, right? Jesse Itzler.
Yes, he's awesome.
I mean,
just connected with him on LinkedIn. What a cool guy.
Oh man, I mean, anytime you sell a company at 28 to Warren Buffett for whatever $1 billion or plus dollars, but what was really cool was how he looked at things, right? And like you were saying, I mean, you heard his stories of getting into the studios, going here, going there, getting in,
bringing the table.
What's that?
Bringing the table and writing his own space on the table, right?
Exactly. Yeah. He was like, at a red carpet event. Yeah, made his own thing so he could sit next to the people. And so many times, man, it's so easy to get caught in a box. Like for me, when I get comfortable, man, I gotta move. I gotta move my office. I've got, like, if I ever feel myself, I've got to, and not necessarily physically, but mentally, do something new, add a new routine. Learn a new language, create a new exercise. Like I have to shift because I don't, it's so easy to get caught in routines. I mean, routines are healthy, but it's so easy to get caught in patterns that where we stop dreaming, where we stop having a
comfort kills.
Comfort kills.
Yeah. Do you know what's quite interesting for me? So this was quite interesting. We talked about Grant Cardone earlier, and I've obviously met him a lot of times and met a lot of people. But over in the UK, yes, we've got our little island, and it's on the map it looks this big compared to the US. But what's really cool is a lot of the people that they have, and the celebrities and the well-named billionaires and all these people at these events. In the UK, I didn't know who these people are. So by not knowing who they are, you ask questions. Like for me personally, I ask questions to everyone anyway. But you go up to somebody and go, how you doing, dude? So what's your story? Who are you? When they come over I didn't know who they are. So we're just having a normal conversation. But people suddenly, when they realize who people are, they go, whoa, I can't talk to them. Why? Because you're obscured by the fame, or you think they're unreachable. I've had people say to me, oh my God, you know this person, you know this person. Yeah, I do. How long have you known them? I just went to go and see them. What? Because the interesting thing with everything, we were saying about dreams and stuff, but people at the back of the room wish to be at the front of the room. But the difference there is a price or buying a seat or making it happen. The people at the front of the rooms are already doing business. Like they may not do business directly, but they become friends because they're on the same level. So we had, you'll see how many people came up afterwards wanting pictures or anything just for being at the front of the room. And we're like, dude, you're 14, you're 16, you're 19. I'm going to shake your hand because you're awesome. If I came to events like these when I was that age, I'd be a billionaire already.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is amazing. Don't come and shake my hand or want to have a picture with me. You're the next generation. The biggest thing, the next thing hasn't been invented yet. And
Mhm.
that's the whole next generation. I was in a talk discussion on digital Northampton and the steps, and it's the next generation who need to keep dreaming bigger, because the stuff that they're going to do, oh man, just total next level.
What
You
do you
know,
see? What do you see, Ricky? Like being around, high level people, high level performers, in business, in life. What do you see is obviously there's multiple ones, but from your standpoint, what do you see as the number one thing that you would say if you just had one? What's the biggest thing that you see that stops people from their dreams?
stops them. Oh, that's a good question. What stops people from dreaming? I don't know. I think they stop dreaming because they give up.
Yeah,
They give up. Like at the point that you are about to give up, the people who succeed don't. They continue. They plow through. Life isn't easy. They
exactly.
keep plowing through. I mean, this exercise that I said that you're alive, right? So many people are like, oh, yeah, this is hard, or this isn't. Hey, look, you're still living, you're still breathing. Just keep plowing through. It doesn't matter. You could lose everything, but you can't take away this.
Yep.
And if you keep on learning and you keep on networking and you meet like-minded people and you do all of those things, then you can literally achieve anything. The
Mm,
word impossible means I'm possible, right?
yep.
People stop dreaming because they give up. They give up on their dreams and they go and work for somebody else. And then they just go, what if only, wonder. Now, some people, they have families and their families are their focus and that's their reason and their why. But having friends all over the world, so your kids can have friends all over the world, and just having networks of like-minded people, that is so powerful because you could say, who do you know who does this, this, this? Well, funny enough, I know quite a lot of people. Would you mind introducing me?
Yeah.
Cool. There you go. Like,
Yep.
oh my God.
Yeah, it's true, man. And what's funny is I think that I think that when what I've realized is when our vision for our life that we have doesn't align with where we are. So like if we have these dreams, and this is what I've seen too, and is we have our real estate academy and we help and mentor and guide. And what happens is people say they want this, but let's say they create a vision board or write out their perfect day and they're not doing the things or they're not seeing the results yet. Like when someone's vision for their life doesn't align with where they are, that creates a lot of frustration.
Yeah.
And just I think that and I think more than that, when it doesn't align, is not believing that they can have that life that they want, that they deserve that life that they want. And maybe that comes from, self-belief, self-sabotage, people they're hanging around. I was telling someone the other day, I said, listen, people are saying, hey, at the Cardone, I got a great deal on my seat. But those tickets down there, where we were $15,000-$20,000 a seat, you talk to an average person, they'd be like, dude, I would never pay, this, or are you kidding me? And obviously I got a good deal. I don't know what your seat was, but you were right down by the stage, but basically, just literally the people that I met, you and some other people I've becoming really good friends with and networking in different parts of the world, like that alone, forget the event, that alone was worth it.
Oh, it's priceless, absolutely priceless. And I think the more you do things like that as well. I mean, Carlos, if he's on it later, Carlos, he saw us in the UK 10x UK one, and he came over and he saw us in Miami. He's really successful, such a lovely guy, and he was like, Ricky, I saw you in the UK, and now you're here. Let's hook up. And he actually sent me my exercise I showed him when I was having I was having a blue day. I was having a bit of a, oh my God, and then he sent me my own exercise back. And I was like, that's awesome, dude. I was having I don't know if I'm allowed to swim. I was having a really shit day that day. I was like, oh, and then he sent it to me and I was like, that's amazing. And that's the joy of meeting people in that space, because there is no room for negativity. Like people run victim and blame culture. And it's like, Stop being the victim. Suck it up. You
Yeah.
know, yeah. People always do this. They always point their finger. It was you, this person. It was this person. It was this person. At the end of the finger is you.
Yep.
So stop blaming everybody else. Take your own life by the horns. And what do you want to do? What do you want to be remembered for? What are you going to achieve? What are you going to create? Who are you going to inspire? Like the ripple effect of stuff like Success Leaves Clues was born because lots of business coaches come out and they start talking about stuff, but they've never built businesses. So they're robbing from people.
Yeah.
But if you get successful people who have built businesses, who share their story, no one got it easy. They came. Napoleon Hill said a statement which I absolutely love. From every adversity comes the seed of a greater or equal opportunity. So when I had cancer, for example, I didn't go, whoa, shit, woe is me. I have cancer. I was like, right, I'm going to smash this, and then I'm going to fear nothing, and then I'm going to smash everything else, and I'm going to put urgency on everything I want to do. The other thing is, I didn't believe at that time I was able to go on stage or that I should talk in this space. But I've been talking on stages and in workshops forever at universities.
Now this was before you got cancer last year.
Before I got cancer, I was always on stages talking about industry, talking about what I do, my space. I didn't really feel like advising businesses because I believed you had to get to like 1 billion before you advise businesses. But actually, having a business for 18 years, working with some of the biggest brands in the world, battling cancer and demons and working on your business and going, you know what? Actually, there's a lot of people who would fold or fail if they had these things. They'd just give up. And I was like, well, actually, okay, I created time. I have an amazing family. I have loads of holidays. I'm very, very lucky. But I wanted to make money so I can secure that for my family. What do you do if you want to make money? Surround yourselves with people who make lots of money and ask them their story. How do you make it? And they generally say, I ask for it. I ask the awkward question. I would like your business. I would like all of your business. In fact, who would you refer me to or recommend me to? You like me, right? And it just is a massive game changer. Like you believe so much that it's all going to happen.
Yeah.
That if anyone questioned you, you'd think they're mad.
Yeah. It's such a simple but profound thing that you just said.
Yeah.
You actually were sharing with me when we were just talking on the phone one day about, I forget if it was Disney or who it was. And you just basically did what you and At said, right? And said, well, hey, like you're doing this for me, but do you know what I'm talking about?
The Magic Matrix part.
And you said,
ask them for all this.
Yeah. And you asked them, hey, well, I'm doing this for you, but how about if I do everything for you? And they're like, okay. Like, right? You're like, what was I thinking?
Why did I ask this 10 years ago?
Yeah. That's such a crux, man, for people. I mean, we deal with it because really everything that we do is sales, right? It's believing in what you do so much that it's like, hey, do you want to, do this? Do you want to, just asking for, the business, and so.
But people also, I think the interesting thing is there's a lot of people, and you see it in new generations with social media and Instagram and things like that. People are posting pictures and videos for what is a perfect life. The moment the camera is off them, they're not in a great place. They might not have the perfect life. Mm-hmm. And it's really interesting because people don't really bear warts and all. But success comes with failure, and lots of them. But people sometimes see the success or they fake a success to say, hey, look at me, but are they truly happy? So when we've said, success doesn't have to be money. It can be time, it can be family, it can be visiting that place that you've always wanted to go. One of the things I think I said to you before, and it's something for business owners and people generally to think about. My little boy is 10, my little girl is 8. If my little boy comes on holiday with me till he's 16, that's 6 beaches. 6 beaches I'm going to go with him. If I went on holiday once a year, what are those 6 beaches? Now, if we're lucky and we go on holiday twice a year, that's 12 beaches. And there's a thing where, life in dots. The average age of someone is 80 in the UK. So I'm 39 now, 40, so about halfway through that life cycle. So that's something like 4,160 weeks or whatever. How many beaches am I going to visit? Like if I'm 49, so if I'm 39 now, and I'm as able-bodied now as I will be, say, by 59 or 69, yeah?
Like my age.
69? Oh, yeah. You look good for it, man. I want to be on whatever you're on. Dude, that's amazing.
Hey, man, they say you got to always add 20, right? So,
yeah, buddy.
I mean
well, but the thing is that if you're as able-bodied now, so how old are you?
I'll be 48 in August.
Okay, so you're 48 in August. Let's say you're as able-bodied now as you will be in 10 years' time. You look after yourself, right? So let's say about 58, you're going to be as able-bodied as you are now. That's only 10 holidays, dude. That's 10 places. Where are they? And people are busy working, and they might play a victim mentality, or they're really planning through. But why are you working? Are you working to have this amazing holiday? Are you working for money? Are you working for freedom? What are you doing it all for? Or what would you like to do? Your 10-year-old self, what would you ask yourself? Like for me, if I was to see my 10-year-old self now, I'd high five and go, dude, awesome. You were an animator. You did all those things. Amazing. Why didn't you go to a conference when you're 10? Know, or why didn't you learn business and go and do those things? But that's because fail is first attempt in learning. And you fail loads and you're doing things and you just learn. And when you get surrounded with like-minded people and successful people, you ask them questions. See, when we have juniors coming into our studio, I generally say to them, you've got to make teas or coffees. And they laugh and go, teas and coffees. I'm very serious. Why do you think I want you to make teas and coffees? And they're like, oh, because I'm a junior? No. Because I want you to speak to the artists, I want you to speak to the team and ask them their story. They have the job you want. Ask them the questions, make them the tea, make them the coffee, put it in front of them. Get yourself known. So then when you're looking for somebody, they'll remember the person who always asked the questions or got them the tea or got them the coffee. So there's no job too big or too small. And it isn't, oh, you're just making those coffees just because that's what a junior does. No. You're in an environment where you ask questions. They have the job you want. When you achieve a role, dream bigger, ask that person how they got there, or their boss's boss's boss. And in big companies, people are scared of CEOs or big positions. They're like, oh, I can't talk to that person. Why not? They're normal. Yeah, they're no different than you or me.
Yep.
And this is where I think when celebrity status comes in, or I'm lucky, I've met lots of celebrities, I've interviewed lots of celebrities. I'm so rubbish with names, I'm brilliant with faces. I could sit and talk to someone for half an hour not knowing who they are. They could be super famous and we just have a really good chat. And then this is what's quite interesting over the pond, because I think in Shark Tank is a big thing in America, right?
Yeah.
And there was a guy who was quite famous in the States who everyone was like, whoa, oh my God, that's so-and-so.
Damon John.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I have no idea who that is. Awesome. I met him. I was like, dude, how are you? I was chatting to him afterwards. I was like, that's awesome. I have no idea who you are, but obviously everyone over here thinks you're pretty cool, and you're actually cool on stage. So yeah, it was just funny. And like Jesse Itzler, he was just awesome. Right?
Oh,
but again,
yeah.
I didn't know who he was, and we connected on LinkedIn recently. But it was just, yeah, it's really funny. You know, people's perception is I'm not able to talk to that person. I mean, I've come back to the UK. GC's doing a lot of stuff now. We're doing a lot of stuff ourselves. We're meeting lots of people, and a lot of people have said to me, "How have you met all these people you've met?" And I said, "Because I went to where they were and just said hi. How are you doing?" And I didn't. You don't also go directly. You go to the inner circle or those people. You just start being where people are and just talk normally. But people fear. They fear it. They go, "Oh, I'm not able to speak to them." Why not? You know. And that was interesting because a lot of people said, "Oh, I followed this person for years and years." Okay, have you ever been to one of their events? No. Why? Why have you not been to one of their events? What? Where else can you go? Who can you speak to? And I think this is what's really interesting. So actors, actresses, I mean, you understand sales, and everyone goes on with sales. Now, I was an animator. I went and started there, but when you do that, you do it loads of times. You make loads of phone calls. You keep being persistent. You just turn up. But people think, I phoned once, maybe I phoned twice, maybe I phoned 5 times. They're too busy. I'm going to leave it. If you really want it, if I said you have 1 week to get in front of somebody, or you're going to die, you damn well getting in front of that person.
Yep.
You do whatever it takes to get in front of that person. So
it would actually become simple. Hey, you have 1 week to to shake Grant Cardone's hand or whatever, right? It's like, if not, oh well, I don't, we put it off. But if it's like, you have an ultimatum and a result, it's like, I'm jumping on a plane, I'm flying there, and I'm going to go into the office and say, hey man, I got to shake your hand or they're going to kill me or whatever, but you just take action, man. You just do it. And
you do. And it was funny because GC was interesting because he actually said something on stage which drove me to Miami boot camp initially last year. Again, I didn't know who he was. We do our thing in the UK. I've got lots of successful people that I know and around me. And he said, I want friends all over the world, so my kids have friends all over the world. And I was like, yeah, dude, that's actually quite cool because we work with big brands and we work with all these across the pond, but I don't have many friends in the States, if any. Now I have loads. I'd say I've got more friends in America than I have in the UK, but it just met so many people there.
They're like, because DJ dude, I never heard of him. It's like, oh, that's my boy, man, back in Los Angeles. Like,
yeah, it's just so funny. But the other thing I find is, like, in America, like, you travel the whole length and breadth of the countries to go to all these places. In the UK, we're like one of your states. We're like an hour from London. We don't go. People go, can you just go to Scotland? No, don't just pop to Scotland. That's like, I've got to get on a plane to go to Scotland.
Yeah,
I'll send a courier to go to Scotland. But in the UK, we're on our little island. Everyone goes, do you know the Queen? No, I don't know the Queen personally. But everyone. So it's just funny, and when the guys come over, it's nice seeing people who either don't know you, or when you go over somewhere and they don't know you, who you are, or what you've done, or when they come over, because people are just people.
Exactly.
And GC, if you want to hold it, you give him money, you'll get to shake his hand. You want a picture with him, but it's not because he's being funny. His time is so precious. He's earning money. The single biggest thing that everybody has is time.
Mm-hmm.
If time was a currency, how would you invest it?
Yeah.
What would you do? Where would you go? Who would you want to see? And these sort of things, these sort of statements, everything like that, they're big motivators to help push you. But you will go down. You will go, oh, it's not working, or frustration that things aren't happening as quickly as you want them to be. But you don't give up. You keep on going.
Mm-hmm.
When people give up, those who succeed don't. They just continue. They continue. And it isn't easy, and no one will say it's easy, and lots of people think it is easy. But every successful person I've ever met has either come from adversity or had a tough time and been successful, or they've believed in themselves so much even when people don't believe in them. Mm-hmm. And when you plug yourself into positive people with positive mindsets and no negativity, hey dude, why just want to take the planet? Let's go to Mars. Let's take the universe. And I think that's that's the power of networking. That's the true power of business and expediting it all. I mean, I'm rabbiting on. I can talk for England, but
No, man. Hey, I love it, man. And you're exactly right. I mean, from a time standpoint, because we work with a lot of people, obviously, for investing and things like that, and they're like, man, I'm trying to find stuff here, trying to find stuff there, but when it all comes down to, it's like, well, who cares, like, where the property is or whatever? When you do a deal, how much time do you have into the deal? Man, I have like 80 hours. So if you have 80 hours into the deal, and stress, and that's 80 hours away from your family. That's 80 hours away from doing other things you could be doing. If we took that off your plate and turned that 80 hours into 8 hours, and you made the same amount of money, would that make sense? Would you be interested? Like, oh my God, how do I do that? Right. So and really that's what we do. And that's why our business has grown, because we don't, it's all about, we help people get investments and things like that. But it's really it comes down to, how can I make more money with less of my time? And you said something too, man, that was really good. And I'm just moving my phone over here. And that was when it comes to, so I want to ask you something. When you came down with cancer last year, you ended up beating it, which is awesome, man. When you actually had that, because when it comes to dreaming, so it's like we just feel like we're gonna live, innately. We don't. A lot of us, it's easy not to live in consciousness and awareness, and to just think we're gonna live forever, right? And so when we don't have a sense of urgency, or you touched on it, we don't have something that allows us to, I guess, have a sense of urgency on living the life we want, building the business we want, helping the kind of people we want, changing lives, all the lives we want. When because when we think about it, it's like, I've had a lot of friends in last year that were really close to me that died, 3 of my best friends, and basically that I grew up with. And it really made me start looking at life differently, as far as, dang, man, life is so precious. I have to take advantage every day. I have to do what I can. And listen, there's some days I falter and I get done with the day. I'm like, God, I didn't I didn't get a fraction of the stuff I got done today. But at least I'm aware now that life is precious and it could be gone at any time. And when you actually, but it's a difference, like believing in God and seeing him, right? When you went through that, and you were told, hey, you have cancer. Here's the prognosis. Did they give you a prognosis, like on how much time you might have, or did they say anything in that?
No, I mean, I think the thing is people see cancer as people who don't understand it think, oh my God, I've got cancer. That's it. I'm going to die. But medicine technology has moved in such a way now that they cure more people than die from cancer. But you only hear the bad side.
Yeah.
Because that's what the press and that's what everyone fears. So that 90% of recovery is positive mindset. I had a friend who also had cancer at the same time, and he was in a bad way, but he was so positive in his mind. He was like, dude, I'm just going to smash it. And I was like, I ain't in no position to complain about anything when he's doing what he's doing. He's like awesome. He's like my hero. And I think the thing is that, yeah, you have those moments you get angry and go, Rrr, but you don't. I mean, I was lucky. I didn't have regret. My regret was I have time with my family. I create lots of life memory hooks. So for me, it was like, okay, let's expedite the situations and let's start living in the future. So stuff I was actually generally holding off for 10 years time, like the book or some of the stages, switching the stage from industry to now business. I was like, right, I'm living in the future. So by living in the future, it means now. And you know what? It's great. And you could come and take everything. You could take the business, you could take that, you could take everything. But I've got my family, I've got my knowledge, I'll build everything again quicker. And because of the expedience, I'm not scared of asking for stuff because I want things quicker. And I think for me, yes, you have dark moments. Yes, you will think about stuff. But I mean, when I was in the fire brigade, I was a retained fireman for 8.5 years. And I had my business, I was animating, I was doing all these things. I'd have an alerter and I had to go to the fire station to go and save someone's life. Now, I didn't know I was saving someone's life, but if people put blinkers on, so they think that their world is so isolated here, and so they live in this space. And suicide is a massive thing, right? Lots of people are killing themselves. It's horrendous. So many people are throwing their lives away because they're not reaching out for help or they're not asking for help. Everyone goes to dark places, but they have these blinkers on. And if you step out of those blinkers, when I was in the fire brigade, I would, whatever I was doing, maybe I then went to an incident and someone has just lost their whole family. It's like, so that presentation or that quote or that project isn't important anymore because someone's just lost so much. And that became a reality check. And, I saw lots and lots of things. I saw people who committed suicide, did all sorts of things. And you get a sick humor and some of these things revisit you, but someone was so low that they did that. And when people are saying, hey, it's all successful, or it's all brilliant, oh, it's all amazing, not everyone, in fact, everybody has dark days, everyone has dark moments, and it's identifying it to step it back. So yeah, when I got cancer, I could have gone, oh yeah, woe is me, or I could have gone, screw this, I'm going to kick that to the curb, and now I'm going to take over the world, and you watch me. And the positive mindset in whatever you do is so important. Now, if someone is too positive, they've got to have bad days too. And I was saying about suicide. There's a lot of people who think, you know what, that's it, I'm going to end it, or this isn't going to happen. It's just not working. It's an easy way out, or they're screaming for help. That's why that thing is important, because when you're given mortality, you're like, shit, I'm alive though.
Yeah,
I'm not.
And you know what, Ricky? Those people that, I mean, this is going to be watched and listened to, over the course of a lifetime, hundreds of thousands, hopefully millions of times. Anyone that's listening to this, that is thinking of suicide right now, is depressed, is going through something, I just want to let you know and encourage you. I mean, I've been there. At times in my life where I thought, man, it'd be easier just to end it. But when we go through that, or we go through something really painful, and we don't think, obviously I'm a believer in God, and I know that there's an afterlife, but I think, what I've seen is that if you, by the next day, or maybe that night, it's better, it's fixed. And so many times I think if people just give it and say, hey, even though I feel this way, even though I feel like taking my life, I'm going to give it a day. I'm going to give it a week. I'm going to give it some time, and because just giving it that one more day, and just a lot, they say 90% of people that commit suicide, if they gave it one more day, or they give it 2 more days, wouldn't have done it. It was done out of an emotional state. Right.
Yeah.
And so
it's selfish, and people go, hang on a second, it is selfish. And it is hard, and they're screaming for help, because the thing is, the aftermath of it is all the people that are left behind.
Yeah.
People who throw themselves in front of trains, and I've picked up body parts. People who throw themselves into things like that. Someone has to pick that up. Someone has to see that. They can't unsee it, and then their family don't get to see them in that way. So they have to be in such a low place for this. And this is, I mean, when we're talking about dreams, we're talking about mindset, we're talking about all of these things, but you do go to very dark places. You do think, should this happen? And you might have that for a blip, but that's normal. Lots of people do it. Now, it is scary, the number of people who do commit suicide. And, when you've overcome things, like if you overcome cancer, or you overcome whatever it might be, even if you thought it, you wouldn't want to do it. You wouldn't want to, because you're like, no, I've got another chance. I've got another wind. I'm going to do this stuff. But you're seeing it all the time. I mean, in the UK, there's been some high-profile cases recently, and I've got a friend who we interviewed, his business partner last week at VGS, who was in the Marines. Sorry, he was in the Army, in the Marines in the UK. And lots of guys who are in the services, when they come back to adjust, aren't able to unsee some of the things, and they kill themselves with PTSD, and it's a massive thing, and they're pushing it and just sort of going, look, yes, all successes and lifestyles aren't rosy. People have worked hard, they've dug in deep, or they've asked for help. But most people don't ask for help. Like, they don't ask for business. They don't say, hey, I want all your business. What?
And most of us, I didn't really, to the level I do now, really until at a really deep level, until probably a couple years ago. When I was only 67, and
you're looking good for it, dude.
I know, man. That's why I always tell people, how old are you? I'm like, well, I'm almost, right? Like when you say I'm almost 50, they're like, damn, you look good for 50, But if you say,
look at me, dude,
they're like, if I say I'm 47, they're like, oh, I didn't thought you were, younger, but when you say that 50, right, it's like, oh man, so that's my line. I always say, hey, it boosts me up a little bit. But shoot, what were we even talking about?
Well, it was just, we was just talking about suicide or just mindsets. You know, people who
and most people, I didn't realize till a couple years ago, Ricky, that the cool thing is that we 100% have control, like 100% of our thoughts, of our emotions, and our feelings. Those are 100% in our control, and no one ever tells us this. Right? We're not told this in school. It's like, oh, that happened, so that made me mad. Or this happened and that pissed me off. Or I got an F, I failed in something. That's bad. Right? We're taught all these things that are really a 180 in life is, failure is bad. Failure is incredible. But we're programmed at a young age. If you get an F in school, you're getting your ass kicked, right? Some kids, they go home and get a whooping. But, it's not bad. And so these things that we're taught, like Tony Robbins says, it's okay to think something, but as soon as you believe that to be true, that's where it does damage, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's fine to think, this, but to realize that we're in control of what we want to think. We can change that thought. We can say, oh, that's just a thought. Let me think differently about that, or let me believe something better about myself. And we talked about it, surrounding yourself with like-minded people, even people that are, a lot of us in life are, I'm sure you are too, I haven't talked about it, are givers, right? We love helping people, but a lot of times our biggest talent, right? Or not talent, but our number one thing that we love to do is also our Achilles heel. Until we realize that, hey, I can still help people, and some people take advantage of it, some people won't, some people appreciate it. But when you're a giver and you're always breathing life into other people, if you don't have someone breathing life in you, if you don't have higher level people that are breathing air into you as you're breathing air into people that you're trying to pull up, and then you have someone that right, and that goes into coaches, mentors, going to events, having those people that can pull you up to a higher level so you can pull the people up that you want to pull up to a higher level. It's vital, man.
Totally.
I mean,
100%. I mean, it is. I mean, you fall over, you get back up. When you were born, you didn't run. You learned to crawl, you walked, you run. Then you run quicker. So you upgrade yourselves and your networks and your connections. But at the same time, there's loads of different things. You treat everyone how you'd want to be treated.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it doesn't matter what position. When people go, "Oh, you're CEO," I ain't no different than the janitor. I would sweep the floors. I would mop floors. I would be happy. I've done all of those things. I don't do those things now because I have a responsibility for my team and the people who work for me to make money, to grow the business, to be successful, because I have other families as well as my own to look after. But I mean, for me, the other thing is that we're talking and we're saying a lot of things now. If there's one thing that people could remember from here, like, to predict the future, first you must create it. Okay, so what does your future look like? Like, I can say to you, what do you want to do when you grow up? Because you're 47 now, 48 now.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do when you grow up?
Oh, I want to.
Yeah. What do you want to do?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, buddy.
You put me on the spot.
What do you want to do when you grow up?
Man, I want to inspire people all over the world to live their best life.
Yeah. So let's say someone listens to this podcast or this film, this and listens to the fact that it's okay to feel low, it's okay to feel dark, but hey, you're alive, you've done this exercise.
Yep.
If one person just did that when they're feeling low, totally awesome. And if you go, oh, I get you. But that's okay. It's all right to feel like that. Everyone does. The most successful people do. They put a facade of, no, it's all great. It ain't all great. They've either lost businesses, they've had hard times. Again, we said it earlier, but from every adversity comes the seed of a greater or equal opportunity. That's a Napoleon Hill statement. It's such a great statement. Yeah. And people, if we come back to where we were at the beginning, what would your young self say? I was at a conference. It's really interesting because when I had cancer, I didn't cry. And there was a guy called Ryan Pinnock who does Super Genius. I've just done a course with him recently. and it's all about controlling your subconscious mind. Okay, now I saw him on stage at an event, and I cried. I was like, oh my God, I had to go and phone my wife. I literally cried for about half an hour. I couldn't believe it. And I went and did his course, and he was amazing, a really cool guy. We're going to do some stuff together and on stages and whatever. And he was doing an alchemy workshop more recently. But what happened was, in one of his courses, because I'd spent a lot of time in hospitals and things, you had to, at the end of the whole thing, say well done to yourself. So you could bow down to other people, that's no problem. But you had to go into a state of consciousness and say to yourself, well done, for 5 minutes. I did it for 1 minute. I completely broke down. I couldn't tell you if I was alive, if I was dead, if I was in hospital. I just did not know what the hell was going on. And all because I said, well done. And it was really bizarre. It was the whole subconscious mind and how you see things. And everyone would think I was mad as a box of frogs once we done this. And everyone who hasn't done it, they'd go, yeah, whatever, did you just crazy? It was like, yeah, well, hey, I do animation, so I'm allowed to be mad. But it was the fact that for 1 second and for that 1 minute after we went into these states, I just went, well done. So your parents, like, I love parents, and we always say, you've got to not do what your parents and your friends and family say, just do everything else. But they might say, my dad might say a handful of times in my life, well done. Doesn't mean you don't love me, doesn't mean that. I know he'd probably say to the world, maybe not to me. So but if you've ever said to yourself, you know what, well done, I've made a change, or I've made a difference, or I've done something, that's cool. That's okay to do that too.
Yeah.
And that is so much more powerful than anybody else giving you praise. Simon Sinek wrote the book Leaders Eat Less.
Yeah, I love Simon Sinek.
Yeah, and when I was in the fire brigade, I didn't go, hey, I've just saved a life, everyone, look at me. I went, you know what? That person's going home to their family. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't need everyone to say to me, well done. I never at that time said, you know what, well done, that's awesome. But now thinking, I go, that was, but the comfort is you're with a great group of people. They've got your backs, the team, the camaraderie is amazing, but you've made a difference there because they get to go home. We had incidents where, I know we're going into business and going off topic, but we had an incident where in the fire brigade, you've got a golden hour, 1 hour to get people to a hospital. And we got to an incident and the car was as flat as a pancake and there was 2 lorries. And we got there and thought, oh, I didn't realize there was a car there, right? And then we heard this noise, heard a little bit. And then all of a sudden we thought, shit, there's people in the car. There's a car under the lorry. It took us 2 hours to cut the lorry and break them apart, cut the people out. We had 2 air ambulances, closed the roads off, everything. They didn't have a single scratch on them. 2 70-year-olds, absolutely fine. I was like, dude, what is your lottery numbers?
Wow,
and
yeah.
I was like, whoa. Now, obviously, I did that way back when I was part-time fireman. I still run my business. I still did all those things. I've grown my business. I'm doing all these stuff. But that for me was like, whoa, oh my God, that was amazing. And these are all these sorts of things. But I mean, for me, that was just something that was really cool and a big reality check. And all the people who are in the forces, the military, the police, I take my hat off because they do things that are phenomenal, and they see stuff that people don't know. And the police get hard times, right? In the UK, they get hard times. But if everyone's got a problem, where would you want your kid to run to? A policeman.
Yeah.
And I think for me, like success again, with Success Leaves Clues, with the stuff that we do, if you can do a ripple effect, you can affect one person's life or help one person, then hey. And if you make friends all over the world and someone said, you know what, I saw a podcast from your dad, or I saw something he said on stage, or he did this, it was awesome, it helped me, totally cool.
Oh, 100%. Hey, so you, one last thing, man, and then I want to share like how people can get in touch with you, how they can hear about, like things that you have to offer. Controlling the subconscious. What did you learn real quick? What did you learn about going through that course? Because, the subconscious is what, 90 something percent of everything we do throughout the day is subconscious. What did you learn? Was that, or what was the number one thing that you learned that you might be able to give a tip from going through that can help people to reprogram their, or maybe one or two of them? Because I think that's, that's huge, is is obviously like, I don't know, what would you say as far as programming the subconscious?
So there's lots of things that are there. I can say what happened for me. I mean, the big one is believing in yourself and thinking bigger, but truly believing. So when I went through it, my whole life, there was always like a caged lion who always wanted to do more. Now I've been very successful. I've had lots of things, but I've always had a caged lion. And by the time we went through the subconscious, the cage was open, the lion was out, and then it was opening up all other cages of all other animals and then coming out. Now, I know I might sound as mad as a box of frogs, but it's a bit like Clabs from Car Examiner, right? But yeah, I think the subconscious part of it was that actually, if you fear something, like if you are struggling to, let's say someone's struggling to pay a mortgage, so they go and earn money in fear of paying a mortgage, they'll never pay the mortgage because they're focusing on that fear. Like the rich dad, poor dad thing is, but it's not that, because you're actually, what you're fearing in your subconscious is, I might not pay these bills, or I might not pay this thing. So that becomes your focus subliminally. But you're going, I'm working hard to do this. I've got to do it. It's like, I'm not worrying about this anymore. I'm not going to fear it. And the moment I'd fear it, the word choose was the single one, actually, choose. So when people go on diets, for example, they go, I can't do this, I can't do that. That's constant, never-ending tantrum. Yes, you can. You choose not to.
Yep.
I choose to be a billionaire, and I'm aware of my social responsibility. So by choosing something, you don't give your conscious or your subconscious anything, because it's a neutral space. So you're not focused on, I want to do this because I'm going to fail here. You're going to fail because you're fearing the fail in your subconscious space. But if you choose it, I choose to do well, I choose to make money, I choose to be around the people I'm with, that's non-conscious or subconscious. I mean, that's what I got from it. Ryan Pinnock and people like that would say other things, but by that single word alone, I choose not to eat that cake today, or I choose not to do this, or I choose to go to the gym, or I choose to believe in myself. Totally awesome. That single word is probably how I would say you could neutralize your subconscious, in my opinion.
You know what? I just heard a friend of mine, Kent Clothier, that's big real estate guy here in the States, that actually funny, was speaking on stage. I saw a clip of him somewhere on social media, and Kent was saying the same thing. You say that I don't have time for this. Oh, I don't have time for that. Or, this or that, or I can't, I don't, I'm trying to come up with the money, but I don't have the money. Right? Whatever you're giving that energy to, it's like, and I see this because we talk to people a year later that want to maybe come into the academy or whatever, or invest with us or whatever. They're like, yeah, I don't have it. It's the same situation 6 months, same situation 1 year, same situation literally 2 years, and we'll talk to you, and it's like, right, and it gets to a point where you're like, hey man, like people think that their problem is, oh, I need a property. If I just do one deal, everything will be solved. Or I'm having a tough time getting property. When you ask someone, hey, what's your problem with flipping homes? Well, I just need investors. Okay. Well, but their self-talk's bad, right? They have no plan. They have no vision for their life. And you see all these things, and it's like, well, that's really not the problem. Let's talk, right? Like this is really the problem. They have a like this, right? Like you were saying, they can only see the blinkers. So when you remove those off and you say, this is really the problem that you're having, it's like, oh my God, you're right, right? Like that's treating the root of the tree that's going to fix that problem, is the things that you said, right? The subconscious, the self-talk, that kind of thing, not treating the fruit. Most people subconsciously try to, if the fruit on the tree is bad, they go to treat the fruit on the tree. That's not going to solve the problem, right? That's going to provide a temporary solution, but it's not going to, it's like someone drinking to get, to feel good, or smoking weed, or doing something to make themselves feel better. It's a temporary fix, but long-term, it's not solving anything. It's just fixing the fruit on the tree, but it's not tending to the roots that will produce good fruit for a lifetime. right? And so, you know, I 100% agree with you. So how can people, I want to put up here on the screen, buddy, how can people say, hey, man, this guy, Ricky, I like your saying, man, I got to use that across the pond. This guy, Ricky, across the pond is a cool guy. If DJ's friends with him, he must be cool. What's a way that, like, you have your own show and your own events that you're doing called Success Leaves Clues. How can people, if they want to get in touch with you, obviously your name's on here, they could direct message you or send you a message on Messenger on Facebook. But how can people get in touch with you if they were like, hey, man, I want to see what you're doing. I want to see maybe when you have an event, how I can attend it or something.
Yeah, dude. Well, so we've got lots of, if they go on to Success Leaves Clues on Facebook, you'll know because there'll be a gold lion or there'll be this lion that you can see. That's the logo. And my Instagram, I'm new to Instagram. I was sort of new to that. It's Ricky O'Donnell 79. So you'll see some of my craziness. That's me directly. Ricky O'Donnell 79. I'm not as big on Instagram as you, dude. I've only just started it. I'm old. You know, Facebook, I've got loads of followers on Facebook. We've got an amazing following there, and the shows that we do, we post on that. But on Instagram, yeah, Success Leaves Clues, or I'll go to rjdm.com, see some of the animations we've done. So if you go to Success Leaves Clues, you'll see you in there next week, dude.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Success Leaves Clues Facebook page.
Yeah, or you could go to successleavesclues.com and then click from there, and you'll be able to see the Facebook page or the Instagrams. But yeah, successleavesclues.com is the website, and then you'll see the other businesses from there. You'll see a little bit more about me and see some of the stuff that we do. And hey, even Ty Lopez has seen that site and how they go at that site. So
here, I'm gonna put, yeah, exactly. I'm gonna put on, so www.successleavesclues.com, right?
Yeah.
So those people that are listening to the podcast or wherever you're listening to it on Stitcher or YouTube, you can actually go to www.successleavesclus.com. If you're watching this, you obviously it's on the screen now. I put it up for all of you to see, and this is how you can. You know, I'm big, Rick, you know, when I do the show, I love having people from different genres, different backgrounds. And obviously, you know, that's like, you know, with you being over there in the UK and things like that, but just getting around, you know, I was just talking the other day about proximity, and I've really come to understand it in my life. It's putting yourself in a position, putting yourself around the kind of people that you want to meet, the kind of friends you want to have, right? The kind of people that are just winners, man. And, you know, and that's, I mean, that's huge. So those of you that are listening and watching this, go check out Ricky's stuff at Success Leaves, www.successleavesclues.com. You can reach out to him on Facebook. It's Ricky O'Donnell, right?
Yeah, Ricky O'Donnell, RICKYODONNELL. And it's the good-looking guy with all the chin.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So we got some comments on here. CJ, what's up, buddy? Amy, thanks for joining us. Terry, Amy's mom, shout out to you. Maxwell Green, what's up, buddy? We've got LaShawn Jenkins. Thanks for checking us out, buddy. And obviously there will be many more people that come on here. And
no, that's cool. Hopefully I haven't bored your audience, mate. Hopefully your audience hasn't depleted and gone back, you know. But we'll bring them back up next week in our show.
We'll bring them back up, man. I'll be on your show, and you'll be in your office, not the man cave.
Yes, I'll be in the office and not the man cave, in the proper studio with all the cool screens and all the awesome.
Hey, man, I love the man cave, man. I'm all about it.
Well, look, we got the bar there, so that's the most important part. The bar in the cave, the pool table, Batman's over there. It's all good.
Exactly, man. Exactly. But thanks for being on the show, buddy.
Thank you, mate.
Thank you, all you guys, for watching. If you can do me a favor, if you can share this with as many people as you can, get the word out. You know, I started this show just to do something positive, to inspire, encourage other people to live their best life. And so please, if you like this, if you got something out of it, or even if you didn't, if you could just share it as a favor to me, that would be great.
I was going to ask, can your audience post on this at the bottom of videos?
Yes.
Get them all to post this, dude.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, if you guys watch this show, post a video of you doing
Best
this
exercise in the world.
Yeah. I want to see how many comments we can get with people posting a video of themselves doing this. Right.
And for those who come in late, this is the best exercise in the world because you're alive. You're not in a coffin. So post a video of yourself doing that down below.
Exactly. Hey, man, great idea. Great idea. Well, thanks for everyone for joining us. Stay on here with me, Ricky, for a minute. Love all of you. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you soon.